meet my bride. Let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the speed meter steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. Some 30 years ago, Garth Brooks released the song Friends in Low Places. The song depicts a man that for various reasons doesn't fit in socially with high society. But creating the car industry in France was going to take someone with friends in high places, someone like Albert de Dion. That count could count on quite a few friends to help put together the French automobile scene, and one of those men was Baron Etienne van Zuylen van Nijvelt. The good Baron was born in 1860 in Nice, France, at one of the various estates owned by the family. His father, Gustave, was the third Baron van Zuylen van Nijvelt van der Haar, and was at the time an ambassador to France, representing Belgium, as well as managing estates and businesses across Belgium, France, and the Netherlands. Etienne was essentially a Dutch nobleman born in France with ties to Belgium. Yeah, it's a bit complicated. Anyhow, the young Baron-to-be was a large fellow of athletic build, yet with a mind for numbers. He was a whiz at math and from the beginning, and pursued an education in business. At the same time, he fell in love with all things horses, racing, riding, training. He would be an equestrian man all his life. He would complete his education in 1882 and begin his career in one of the family businesses, banking. He proved to be exceptionally good at it, and the bank prospered. In August of 1887, he married Marie Helene de Rothschild. Now, Madame Marie had a friend, Count Albert de Dion, that in the process of their courtship, she introduced to Etienne. The two hit it off, and a friendship ensued. Also, Marie herself loved the cars de Dion was building, even buying one of his early steam cars herself. And, of course, her car love infected her fiancé, and so by the time of their marriage, both were wanting to drive. Now, on the surface, you'd think this was an arranged marriage. Marie was a Rothschild, an extremely wealthy family controlling much of the European banking system at the time. Van Nijvelt ran the Bank of Belgium and was a nobleman. Yet this is not the case. The two just fell in love with each other and married despite family protests. Indeed, Marie was disinherited from her family over this marriage, the official cause being that she and her family were Jewish and he was a Catholic. Either he convert or don't marry him. He didn't, she did, and the rest is history. Etienne enjoyed driving cars and riding horses, but had no passion to race either one. He was too heavy to be a jockey anyway, and simply wasn't a race driver. Marie, on the other hand, wanted to race like crazy, but that was not going to be easy to pull off in the late 19th century, particularly for a woman. So, she encouraged her husband to get more involved in the automotive enthusiast scene, and over the first few years of their marriage, Etienne purchased new cars and made new friends in the automotive world. In 1894, when Petit Journal was planning their Paris to Rouen rally, one of the shoulders they tapped to help put it together was Baron van Zuylen. He was not personally a race driver, but he did know how to drive and was a dogged organizer. A real car race had never been officiated before. How do you do it? Etienne spoke to local authorities to ensure public safety to an acceptable level for the time, put together the checkpoints, the timekeepers, the synchronization, the basic things you need to keep track of who actually wins. True, in this particular race, there's still some debate about who really won, but nonetheless, he had the experience. It was as a direct result of this race that Count de Dion approached his friend about starting a new organization to officiate races. De Dion was quite angry about the results. In his mind, he was the winner, but the decision to name Emile Levasseur the winner was done by the newspaper itself, not Van Zuylen. De Dion's proposal was simple: create the Automobile Club of France. This organization will govern racing in France, not some random newspaper. If anyone wants to sponsor a car race in this country, they come to us. Keep in mind, Baron van Zuylen was the biggest banker in Belgium, and Count de Dion owned a considerable chunk of central France. These were both men of considerable wealth and political power, and they both had friends in high places. So they gathered them together: Alexandre Duras, Godolphe Clement, and Adrien de Turckheim, to name just a few. And at a Paris Chateau summit in 1895, created the ACF that we know today, with Baron Etienne van Zuylen van Zuylen as its first president. He would serve in that role for the next 27 years, officiating races and establishing policies to manage record keeping, public safety, and track rules, to name just a few things. He would arrange for his wife Marie to begin racing in sanctioned races herself in 1898, and would chair the International Association of Automobile Clubs from its inception in 1904 through to 1931. Many of the most basic rules of auto racing, spectators stay off the track, track the lap times of the racers, put numbers on the cars. These and hundreds more were the brainchild of Etienne van Zuylen van Zuylen, a man with friends in high places. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History. We'll see you next week. Peace.